Oh, did you want to show us the dumb plant, Kelly?
Oh, yeah,
Or
when
else,
I see
or
it.
else
show
it's
us
going to be
your
the
dumb
foot
plant.
talk as the intro.
So, so this plant it's a succulent, and it's called a pickle plant.
Oh. Oh my gosh, what a silly looking plant.
Look at it. Like it
It's
goes
like-
all the way up.
It's like a drawing of a plant from a Peanuts cartoon.
It's terrible. It's got little spikies happening. I don't know. I'll put a picture of it on Instagram for the listeners if this
Perfect.
goes into an
Pickles
intro,
has joined the pod.
but it's so stupid looking.
Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, a podcast where an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring abilities of insects by creating a bug-themed superhero. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Kelly.
Producer Derek and Desi are also here. Before we get started creating this bug-inspired hero, what's bugging you, Kelly?
Oh, it's just been lots of writing for old Cowtown lately.
Oh, yeah.
So much writing for my dissertation, and imposter syndrome, real high.
You'd think getting a
At the
doctor would
moment.
cure that, but alas.
It doesn't. So
It doesn't.
if any of the listeners are having imposter syndrome too, I'm right there with you. And you know what? It is what it is, and you're awesome, and I'm awesome, and we'll get through it. So
It's all adults faking that they know what they're talking about anyway.
yeah,
You might as well be another adult faking you know what you're talking about.
But otherwise, I guess things are good.
How's the rain? Is it fall there? I don't know how much tree.
No rain here.
I don't
We're
know how
not
much tree action you get as far as leaves.
I'm looking out the window right now at Liberty State Park. We're getting a little bit of oranges, some reds. It's a little early.
Yeah.
For us, I think.
Because
How about you guys?
About halfway through October, it's suddenly fall. It's like green, green, warm, warm, warm. Now it's fall. The leaves are orange and they're on the ground. It's raining every day. You know, and I'm like,
You get a lot of rain in the fall?
We get a lot of rain most of the year, except for the last couple of years because of climate change. But we've had unusually hot summers the last couple of years. But normally, Portland is not as rainy as Seattle. So put that from your mind. But we probably, out of the 365 days, I'd say it's at least some form of precipitation 200 of those days.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a lot of rain.
But that's like any amount of precipitation. I should probably look that up before I say it. Like I'm some sort of meteorologist.
You could be. I'd have no idea.
For all you know, I'm a doctor of the skies.
A sky doctor.
That's but it's like if it's foggy, it's drizzly. A lot of times in the afternoon, it's still really warm. It's still park weather here in the afternoon, but in the morning and the evening, it's usually pretty drizzly.
It's been dry here. The temperature has been good. I went out yesterday with my husband, and I wore like a light dress and just a cardigan, and I was good. It was very Elaine Bennis. It was like this small flowered dress.
Yeah.
And my hair was kind of huge, and a tights and a cardigan. I felt very Seinfeld for some reason, but it was good. It was very comfortable temperature.
The rain has made something bloom here. I've had bloody noses. Sorry, people who don't like bloody noses. I've had bloody noses for the last 3 days, and like once I get one, it's like it's gonna happen for the next week, and there's nothing I can do about it.
I only get that when it's dry.
Something here is blooming because I specifically get these kinds of nosebleeds when my nose is like annoyed about something.
Oh, weird. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's very obnoxious.
I think it's the red sage.
The red sage.
The ornamental red sage that people put in their front
It is
yard.
your nemesis. You've complained about that before. Yeah.
Well, it's like the only thing like I do fine with like dandelions and dogwood trees and like all that stuff. Fine. No big deal. But somehow the sage gets me. It's why I can't drive to Utah anymore either.
Oh, Utah's very pretty. That's a shame.
Well, I just can't drive. I have to fly.
I did finally watch.
Oh yes,
The second Spider-Verse movie.
Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse, yes.
You gotta remember it like it's a Beatles song.
I don't like hot take listeners. I don't like the Beatles.
Oh,
so I would rather not.
You've not been interested in their creepy AI robot Beatles song that just came out?
I didn't even know that was happening. That's how little I like the Beatles.
I guess they have a recording of Old Johnny.
I'm sure I would like some of their B-sides, but I don't like any of their popular stuff. Is too bouncy for me. I don't know. Not a fan. But
it's very 60s.
So Spider-Verse.
So Spider-Verse, what'd you think? Did you like the movie, first of all?
It was hyped up so hard that by the time I watched it, I was like, this is fine.
This is fine.
All the hype, I think, killed it for me a little bit.
No, I feel that.
I love the story. Much like Star Wars Episode 2, I loved when it was all Jedi all the time. So when we got to like the Spider-Man place and it was just Spider-Man for me to look at, loved it. All the Spider-Man, the Spider-Mans. I like that. I love to hate Miguel. Although I wish they made him a little harder, like he was in the comics.
No, yeah.
I thought it was a little Miguel light.
Mm-hmm.
There was
I think they were trying to make you, the audience, understand where Miguel's coming from.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't be straight up a villain, because he is still technically a Spider-Man.
A Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is fantastic, so even as a voice.
Yeah. Rewatching it last night, I felt similarly about Miguel, that like he's kind of funny at parts, and you're like, this kind of feels like a contrary tone sometimes.
I guess it makes sense that all Spider-Men are probably a little bit funny.
A little bit.
They just can't help it.
They're like those comedians with dark pasts. Like, they just
Peter even mentions it.
Funny. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Peter
He says it. It was like, we're supposed to be funny. You're the only Spider-Man that's not funny.
Not funny. Yeah. The artwork was pretty, except some of it was like an acid trip, and I could not follow it. There was too much happening. The fight scenes were too long.
Agreed.
I can't focus on all of that. And as much as I enjoyed the character of the Britpunk Spider-Man, I could not look at him. I couldn't look at him. It was very hard for my eyes to process what was happening. So overall, I would say it was a good movie, but it was not a great movie.
Right.
Because of these
you had some sensory input.
I had some sensory issues on my end.
No, that's fair. I think the movie's about 15 minutes too long. I think by the time you get to the end, like, reveal with what's set up for movie 3, I felt like, okay, we got it. Get there.
Yeah.
See, I felt the opposite. I felt like it was a half an hour too short.
Interesting.
And I don't know what they're going to do for the third movie to fill it out for like that runtime. But
I think you're gonna have the classic movie 3 issue, which is that movie 3 is just a fight scene for an hour and a half. That's what happened to the Hobbit movie. That's what happened to the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It's just, and now we solve the conflict for an hour.
Yeah. I worry that like, the last movie is just going to be a fight scene.
I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean shouldn't be the sequel journey that anyone takes, because it starts so high and then it's just so bad. You're like, come on, guys. But you know me, I hate.
It really tanked.
I hate when movie 2 is just a lead into movie 3, especially when movie 1 wasn't. Like, if it was like, hey, we're doing a trilogy, then maybe I can forgive a certain amount of like, number 1's not a complete movie by itself, because I know I have 2 more movies coming. But when movie 1 is a complete movie and then movie 2 isn't, I just feel like you've missed the point of a sequel.
Yeah, you know? I didn't like that in Spider-Verse, where it just ends on a to be continued. That really irks me. It surprisingly did not bother my husband. I thought he was gonna hate that. His issues with the movies was the same as mine, mostly the sensory, like what the hell's happening right now.
Yeah, I really like a lot of it. I've seen some really interesting like film analysis on it that I've been like, wow, I didn't see that at all, but now that you say it, of course I see it there. There's been a lot of discussion about like LGBT, like subtle storylines within the movie. Within
all the representation was wonderful. I was very happy about that. Yeah.
And like, some characters came back and said one line and you're like, come on guys, I liked that character, why'd they not come back? That sort of stuff. But I'm excited for 3. I really liked 2. Watching it last night, I was like, dang, this movie is so pretty. It's such a pretty movie. At times overwhelming, like you said. Like, there's just too much going on. Like,
yeah. I mean, overall, it was a very pretty movie.
Yeah.
Overwhelming.
Like, the fight scene in the Met and the fight scene when... We should probably say, if you haven't watched Spider-Verse... we're talking about Spider-Verse. But, like, the fight scene in the Met, which bothered me because... they're destroying the Met, and I was like, those are priceless.
Yeah.
Like, artworks. Please don't destroy the Monet that's hanging on the wall. Okay, it's fine. All right, it's just a movie. I'm trying to divorce myself from like the literal billions of dollars of damage that's happening right now. But then like that fight scene went on slightly too long, and then the fight scene where Miles is trying to like escape the other Spider Boys also was too long. Also, I took a shower afterwards, and it made me realize that the presence of the Spider-Man PlayStation Spider-Man implies that Miles exists in other universes. And it seems impossible that he only got bit in one of them. So there must be another Miles Spider-Man somewhere.
Especially considering him being bit was a mistake, because that spider came from another universe anyway.
I think that's the thing.
Is it not a mistake?
I think that Miles, is not supposed to be bitten by that particular spider.
He's still supposed to be bitten, though, you think?
He's still supposed to be bitten, just not by that spider.
Well, what's really going to wrinkle your brain is Genki is playing the PS4 Spider-Man in a scene.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
See, this is the trouble with modern fandom. It, like, across the board is we spend too much time. Yeah, exactly. There's too much access to information, and what should be just like a funny shout out, he's playing Spider-Man, becomes this like, but what does that do to the universe?
Yeah,
the continuity. Which I used to be into as a 20-something, now as a 30-something, I'm like, it's all just cartoon dogs. Okay, let's all just. It's all just singing monkeys. We don't need to like get this deep into it. You
fine.
Guys.
Yeah.
So you liked seeing all the Spider Boys and Spider Girls, a surprising amount of Spider Girls. But
I loved it.
Did any of those? Because it's my understanding that at least some of the background characters are Spidersonas, which I don't know if you know what a Spidersona is.
Explain the concept.
Explain for the masses. So there's this thing in fandom. Internet, which I try not to engage with fandom too much because I feel like it's too intense these days. But one of the things that they do that is fun is every now and then a show will inspire basically an art challenge that is, hey, draw yourself in this universe. And for Spider-Verse, it was draw yourself as a Spider-Man variant. And those were called Spidersonas. And my understanding that Sun Spider, who was one of the characters that briefly shows up in the chase scene, it was a Spidersona of like one of the production staff.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cute.
And I thought it was a little funny that it was called Sun Spider, because like the one thing I've learned from this podcast is that sun spiders are not real spiders. That's the irony. So I thought that was a little funny that like the only named Spidersona was not a real spider. But yeah, so the internet, Pinterest, Instagram was all full after the first Spider-Verse, and then especially after the second Spider-Verse, people drawing their own if I was bit by a radioactive spider.
I think that's so much fun. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's fun. And I tried not to look into it.
I enjoyed watching all that. Looking at all the spiders and Spidersonas and folks, and
what spider inspo would you take if you couldn't take Sun Spider because she's not a real spider? What spider would you want to have the powers of?
Well, my favorite, one of my favorite spiders is the spider family of spiders we're covering today, which is the wolf spider.
The wolf spider.
Have you heard of those before?
We have them here. They are, to my knowledge, a furry little guy that comes at you at the speed of sound, like Sonic the Hedgehog.
They're pretty quick. They can move up to 2 feet per second. They're fast. And they come in a variety of sizes. You might know them for their parental care. Oh yeah, are you thinking of the giant house spider?
No, the giant house spider does come at me with the speed previously unknown to man. Comes at me. I now have to check my tub every single time I use the tub, because the last like 5 times I've gone to use the tub, there has been a spider who is with us no more stuck in my drain. Yeah, big old guys. Cody, don't listen to this part. I'm definitely not checking the tub before you get in the bathroom. Cody,
what a good wife you are.
I almost didn't check it before I put the kids in the other day, and I was like, almost put you guys in a tub with a corpse. Oops, my bad.
No, the wolfies are different. They're a separate species, a separate family called Lycosidae, and it comes from the Greek word lykos, which means wolf. Yeah, they're quick. They are active hunters. They don't make webs to catch prey in. And you might know them from horrified people on the internet because the mothers carry their offspring on their back.
Yes, this I am familiar with, is the backpack of children.
Yes. They can have several hundred. One paper said this rabid wolf spider, which not actually rabid, spiders can't get rabies, had over 1,000 babies, which just seems,
my gosh,
ridiculous.
That's so many babies. It's because we've talked about motherhood or the lack of motherhood with bugs a lot on this podcast, and so it's a lot of times it's just kind of a dump and run situation. I've laid 500 eggs. Sayonara. Hope you guys don't get eaten by a ladybug. But it's funny to me that spiders, and so many, like if it was like 5 spiders, baby spiders, I'd be like, reasonable. You gotta feed these 5 baby spiders. But like 1,000? That's a lot of baby spiders. I mean, like, here you go, children.
On average, if we were to average all the species, it's probably closer to maybe like $1.50. But that's still a lot of spiderlings. And she doesn't feed them. They
right.
So spiders, like anything, like any amniote, coming out of that little eggy has a
what is an amniote?
Not amniote. Well, like anything with an egg yolk. So spiders have an egg yolk, and they have a fat source while they're growing inside the egg, and they get enough fat and protein from the egg that when they're babies hanging out on mom, they don't eat. They don't have to.
Oh, so while they're small enough to ride on her back, they're not worried about their next meal anyway because they've got it all stored up in there. Interesting, because that was going to be my next question: is does she actually provide?
No.
Yeah.
There are other species of spider that do provide food for their offspring, but wolfies don't. They do give them water, which is adorable. So picture all these babies.
Little babies.
All these little babies on mom's back. She's carrying them around. They need to drink. She will walk towards a water source, dip her front legs into the water, and lower her body. And the babies will crawl down her legs, take little sips of water, and then crawl back again. And they all take turns.
So cute. I'm sorry.
Very cute.
That is, it's a level of like behavior that I don't ever expect of like
a spider.
Yeah, like a level of intention that I my human bias I just often don't assign to like specifically non-mammal animals.
Right. But she does that not only. So we'll start at the beginning. So after the female mates with a male, and she has enough sperm stored to create eggs, to fertilize the eggs, she lays this really intricate mat of webbing. She makes a thick mat on the ground, and then she lays her eggs in the mat, and she puts more silk over the top of them, and then starts rolling it into this tight little ball with her back legs. And she shapes it with her chelicerae and her pedipalps, which are the little feet next to the mouth, until it becomes like a heavy, thick ball, and then attaches it to her spinnerets. She carries those puppies around until they're ready to hatch.
So not only does she have them once they're hatched, she carries around a backpack of eggs to start with.
Before, yeah. And to define, chelicerae is her mouth parts. In case I don't know if I've mentioned that in other episodes before, but yeah. So she carries this egg mass around for. I mean, it depends on the species how long it takes for them to hatch. It takes her first it takes her 3 hours to lay the eggs and make this beautiful egg mass. Imagine 3 hours of a spider's time just making an egg sac.
I mean, proportionally to how long she lives, that's a long time. That's like a 3-day labor for her.
It's like a few days. Well, what's kind of cool is one paper I was reading was saying that they orient themselves to the sun. So wolf spiders orientate themselves using the placement of the sun and the polarized light waves coming from the sky. And this one study put them in the dark for a while, and then they were still orienting themselves towards where the sun should be. So that means they can sort of tell time, at least by the hour, which is ridiculous.
Oh, do they think it's time, or do they think they're feeling some sort of magnetic? I guess that wouldn't really be the sun, though.
It's still judging the amount of time that's passed.
Yeah.
Because
that's crazy. I can't even tell
time. They'll continue to orient in the dark. Yeah. Yeah, I can't tell time either.
Yeah, but, my time blindness is real bad.
I think a week went by and it's been a month. And I'm like, oh no. Yeah, I'm terrible with time. Wolf spiders far more advanced than I am. So yeah, so 3 hours of her making that egg sac, she probably sort of not understands, but feels it, which is very cool. And then when it's time for that sac to hatch, she helps them be born. So she will take the seam of the egg sac and start opening it gently with her mouth parts and her pedipalps until the babies can be free, which is, it's a lot of care going on with this mama.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like just the level of intention there is just not what I expect, especially from. I mean, I'm always surprised on this podcast when you're like, and then it gently puts a bonnet on the baby and a bib. And
it swaddles them.
Yeah, exactly. But we've had several where it's like, and then they just care for their young for like especially the earwig was like.
Oh, the earwig, yeah.
We did that for Mother's Day because it did so much mothering, but maybe we should have done wolf spider. So Peter Parker carrying around Mayday in.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Although I mean, the males are not involved. The males are usually eaten.
Oh no!
after mating, she needs protein to make those eggs. So you're going to eat your partner. That's why they do it.
I mean,
he's an easy meal.
The ultimate dad sacrifice.
Yeah, it's your body.
But if
dad bod,
assuming Peter has taken on the characteristics of wolf spiders, he is on par.
He's doing good. Yeah,
he's doing good. He's got that baby in a backpack carrying her around.
Just the one, though. He's being kind of a bad dad, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, he only got some of the characteristics.
But it's incredible. Yeah, she helps them to come out of the egg sac, and it takes a few hours for all of the babies to come out, and she just patiently waits. She'll stand there until they're all out, and then she'll take some silk, and sling it over her back. And then all the spiderlings climb up, and it's time to hitch a ride with mom for about maybe 2 weeks or so, depending on species, before they leave her. But yeah, she carries them around. She still hunts. She hunts with the babies on her to feed herself. It's pretty amazing.
I'm very impressed at the level of momming happening by this spider.
Total momming.
So what else does a wolf spider do that's like specific? Wait. We should talk about your Spidersona of a wolf spider first.
So I don't have children, but I picture...
We'll just put cats in the back.
Yeah, I picture a little bit of an Eleanor Abernathy situation. Who's my favorite Simpsons character.
Yeah, of course.
Whipping cats around. I currently only have 2 cats. We've only ever had 2 cats at a time. But before Darcy and Finn, my husband had a white cat named Luna. So maybe like 3 cats.
3 cats. Okay.
Rotunda can be part of my
my
cat team. Just put all the cats.
But you said that the wolf spiders do not make web. Are you going to be a web slinger if you don't have webs?
They mostly, they don't. Do all Spider-Men sling webs? Are all of them web slingers?
Well,
In the
Miguel
comics?
has kind of like a fake web in the movie. He has kind of that red light web that wasn't quite
Yeah, it's a little
webbish.
zappy,
I
whatever
mean,
that
to be
is.
fair, a lot of the spider people don't make their own web. They have created a web.
They've got like
solution.
silly string cans
Exactly to like
their wrists
to increase their spider likeness. So I guess in theory, you just never created your
unnecessary.
your spider canisters. You're like, that's a lot of jazz. I'm not interested in.
Instead of webbing, wolf spiders are fast. They're fast and they're strong.
Okay.
They are sit and wait predators, which means they just kind of hang out. They're not hiding. Ambush, the difference between sit and wait and ambush is the explosiveness of the attack and whether or not that creature is kind of hiding. Wolf spiders just kind of hang out.
They just kind of lurk in corners until someone wanders by.
Yeah, and they actively hunt. You'll see them walking around and hunting and grabbing prey. They can be anywhere from like 0.04 inches, which is so teeny. It's about 0.1 centimeters to 1.5 inches in length, or 3.8 centimeters. So they're a pretty wide variety of ranges and size. We have here in North America, the biggest is called the Carolina wolf spider, Hagna carolinensis. And I actually worked with several for my master's degree. And I loved the heck out of the biggest one. I named her Olga because it sounded like a strong name. Like she was a big girl.
Olga, yeah.
Like a strong spider. Yeah. I've got pictures of her. Always one picture. I'll share them on Instagram when this post comes out. But I just think they're so neat. They have great eyesight. So they're number 3 for spider eyes for how great their vision is. And it makes sense because if you're an active hunter, you need to be able to see. You're not relying on a web. Web spiders have crappy eyesight. So there's a big difference when they're doing this. The best eyesight is jumping spiders, which I'm sure we'll cover at some point. And I think isn't Gwen kind of based off of the jumping spider?
Oh, she's based off of this like one specific.
Yeah, maybe the bold. Is it the bold jumper? Yeah. Okay. And the second best eyesight is huntsman spiders, which our listeners in Australia probably know so much about.
Oh no, that's like those big boys that like
those are the
hide
big
under
boys on the wall.
Yeah, they hide under like your door handles and stuff. And you're like, I hate that. Thanks. I think I've mentioned before. I had a friend in Australia who was shocked that we don't have magnets that just like show all the things you should be on the lookout for.
Because we don't need them here.
Excuse me? She's like, yeah, you guys don't have the magnets. And I was like, what are you talking about? And apparently in Australia, they have like, free government issued magnets of like, do not touch these things.
Oh, yeah. Well, my friend Michael, who lives in Australia, hi, Michael, I know he listens to the podcast, was telling me that the huntsman spiders are in their cars and sometimes in their visor. So when you go to pull the visor down, a spider will just fall on you. It's just part of.
I've seen some truly horrifying like videos of like, oops, all spiders.
Oops, all huntsmen. Yeah.
Oops, all huntsmen. Okay, so like, what kind of pose do you think? Okay, if you're not a web slinger,
yeah, I don't know.
Do you need to be crouched waiting for your prey?
I do like to sit.
There's a couple like classic Spider-Man poses. There's like jumping through the air. He always has his knees like up always.
Oh yeah.
Just because he's a spider and that's how they
attack mode.
Around. Yeah. I think crouching on the ground is probably our best bet.
Well, how about just like a standing pose? Because what if I have a cool costume? You want to make sure the costume
that's true.
Is front and center.
Okay, well, do you jog at all?
I'm a runner. Yeah, I run.
Okay, then we'll give you a good like runny pose.
I enjoy running. But yeah, so the huntsman is number 2, and then our buddies the wolfies have the third best eyesight of all spiders, which is pretty cool. They have, so also, I hate to always refer to the internet, but that's kind of what we got. You've seen videos where someone shines a flashlight in the grass in the dark?
Yes.
And it lights up?
And it lights up with a 1,000 little pinpricks of light.
Those are wolf spider eyes. They
dislike.
No!
Don't love that. Well, just not only do I not want to, yes. Like and we've talked a lot about how cats have that like reflective lens on the back of their eyes. Is that the same thing going on with the speeders?
It's just the same thing, yeah. It's called the tapetum lucidum, and it's a reflective tissue at the back of the eye. And for wolf spiders, it's only the bottom 4 eyes that do this. So we'll talk about eye pattern for a minute. So families of spiders can actually be identified by their eye patterns. They're all very distinct. So if all you can see on a spider is its eyes, which would be weird, but if that's all you can see, you should be able to figure out what family they're from. So our friends, the wolf spiders, have 2 very large eyes in the front, like boop, big guys, and then underneath 4 smaller eyes, and then at the very top of their head, 2 medium-sized eyes. And these are not compound. These are all single-lensed eyes, like not kind of like ours, sort of, but buggier. Yeah,
but not all black.
Yeah, not
no iris
compounds. Yeah. So when you're shining a light in the grass, you're picking up those bottom 4 eyes that will shine back at you, which I think is pretty cool.
And I think we talked about in the panel we did at Rose City, those front eyes are for hunting, and then the upper eyes are for not getting hunted.
Yeah, you don't want to get eaten by anything above you.
Right.
And
do they have
a bird or
what is it? Oh, now I'm not gonna remember the eye that has like it only senses light and dark. Do they have that?
The ocelli?
Yeah.
No, they just have those 2 lensed eyes on top.
Okay.
That's probably mostly what they're doing anyway, is sensing shadow moving over the top of the cephalothorax. So spiders have their head and that first segment are fused together to create one segment. Right, unlike our insect friends who have the 3 segments.
They have the 3. And that's how you can tell if it's an arachnid or an insect. Or one of the ways.
One of the ways, yeah. What's the easiest way?
Leg?
Yeah, legs, yeah.
I mean, I guess that depends on how quickly you're seeing this guy move,
Yeah, 8 legs versus 6 for arachnids. Yeah, I just think they're cool. I see them all over the place. I see different sized wolf spiders. They do produce venom. So if you're bitten by one, you're not gonna have the worst time unless you're allergic to the venom. It'll get red, puffy.
But how would you know if you're allergic until it's too late?
Until it goes necrotic. Yeah,
exactly.
It's really hard to make them bite you. You have to, really kind of squish them, or cover them
unsuccessfully squish them, as the case may be.
Yeah. Often spiders will do a dry bite first, which doesn't have any venom in it. It's like a warning, because venom production is costly. It takes energy to make that venom. So if you can bite something without using venom and it leaves you alone, then great. You don't have to produce excess venom. Do you need to know what their patterns are for my Spidersona?
I remember what the wolf spider is because I drew you a little spider eyeball the other day.
Yeah, you drew me the eyes. We're gonna put the eye pattern up on Instagram for this episode, and maybe as we cover other spiders, we can do the other family eye patterns as well. But wolf spiders are generally brown, black, or gray, and striped. They have stripes running right down the abdomen and the top of the cephalothorax. Yeah, they're kind of fuzzy. They have little fuzzy leggies. They're pretty cool, and their total lifespan can be up to 3 years depending on the species, but it's usually closer to 1, maybe 1.5. So mom's spending a lot of time with those babies in her short lifespan. She can also have multiple egg sacs throughout her life. The mother's work is never done, Amanda.
That's interesting that she does not live that long, and yet she has multiple broods, I guess.
Yeah, brood works.
You'd think it'd be, I mean, because a lot of the bugs we've talked about have been kind of a one and done situation.
Yeah. Yeah, she can have others. Well, what's kind of funny is that they'll also adopt spiderlings from other mothers.
Adopt because their mother is no longer available to them, or adopt because I found these spiderlings and now they're mine?
Because the mother is no longer available.
Oh, okay. Because the duck method is to just take them.
Yeah, give me these babies.
These are my babies now.
Well, this was done in experiments in laboratory setting, but they took babies of, I think Pardosa was the genus. I don't remember what species it was. And I know they've done this with rabid wolf spiders too, where they took spiderlings from one mother and put them with another mother, and the other mother immediately accepted them. And they crawled up on her, and she was like, I guess we're doing this now.
I guess that's kind of sweet. That's kind of, because a lot of times there seems to be this competition of like, well, if your babies are doing well, that means my babies won't live, so your baby's got to go.
Yeah, I don't think they can distinguish between their babies and someone else's babies.
Oh, it's all just babies to them, and they're like, okay, now I care for the babies.
Well, because the problem is so spiders are cannibals. Spiders want to eat each other, and they might eat their own offspring if the offspring don't disperse at a certain time. If your babies are still clinging to you, and you meet new babies and you can't tell the difference between those babies and yours, you might eat your own babies. So you better just let everyone come aboard and call it a day.
Interesting.
They also, in this experiment, took a female who had never had babies before, never had an egg sac, and they put spiderlings in with her. And they try to get up on top of her, and she's flinging them everywhere.
She's like, what is this? What is this? Get out of here!
And she is
children.
Not into it. But she also doesn't try to eat them. She just tries to get rid of them. And then eventually, I suppose, as all mothers do, she gives up. And she just allows them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. She's like, I guess I have these children now.
I guess I'm a mom now. But a virgin female universe just says fine.
That's funny.
It is very funny. I laughed a lot reading that. It's not normal to laugh while reading journal articles, but just reading through that one, I was giggling because I thought, man, that poor female did not sign up for this.
I didn't even get to do the things I'm supposed to do to get here, and here I am.
Here I am. But yeah, they'll carry the spiderlings around for a couple weeks. And what's interesting is if the mother is threatened, the babies will disperse so she can fight or flee. And I don't know what the signal is. I was trying to find this in the literature, and I don't know if it's not there or if I just missed it because I don't have, 20 hours to really read the literature for the pod. But I read as much as I can. And I've worked with wolf spiders before, so I have a pretty good understanding of them. But I don't know if she shakes them off when she's in danger to disperse them, or if they flee on their own, or if there's some kind of cue. I don't know why it happens, but it does. And then she will gather them up afterwards when it's safe and get them all back on her back. They'll also come find her, and that's likely due to chemical cues. A mother will smell a certain way to the spiderlings, and they'll find her. But it's neat. There's been videos where people have I hate this video. They squashed one with a broom or something, and she was covered in babies. Disperse? Yeah, and they'll die. They'll die because they can't give them. They don't know to drink by themselves, right? So they'll probably
they require spider lessons on how to be a spider for 2 weeks.
Yeah, they expect mom to bring them to the water. There was one study where the mother died, and they left the spiderlings on there, and there was water nearby, and they never went to it. They just
don't know.
Yeah, they basically died of dehydration, even though it was right there. And another one where they took her, she was dead, and they took her legs and put them in the water. And some of them did drink then. But I think they need these cues from her.
I mean,
it was so sad.
If I left the house for 3 days, my children would also know not to drink. They'd be like, I'm so thirsty. What is happening? Because I'm constantly supplying those kids
with water
bottles.
I'm constantly supplying my husband with water. I get it.
Oh my gosh. We just got
Please
Cody
drink more.
This, like, I think the final count was like 80-ounce water bottle. It's huge.
It's gotta be giant.
It's like a canister of water. And he's supposed to drink one a day, according to his doctor. You know, like, you're supposed to drink so many ounces, topping off at 100. And it is so big, but the children want to drink out of it because it's this cool,
it's
huge water bottle, right? It's awesome. And we let Ted decorate it and this whole thing. It's covered in pizza stickers.
And it's appropriate for Cody.
And exactly. Teddy was very excited to, like, encourage Dad to drink water. The older boy can drink it pretty well. You know, he's 5. He can, and doesn't always send it up his nose. But the 18-month-old can't. So she is consistently almost drowning trying to drink out of this huge water bottle. And like, bless his heart, her brother's always trying to help. And so now he's just like waterboarding his younger sister. And I'm like, stop giving her the water. As it like splooshes up her nose. And she's like, so. But
they would need the big water canister.
Yes, they would need someone to lead them to the water and say, please don't drown yourself in this water right now. But great Ross find. Ross, thank you for doing me a solid on that.
Yeah, I think their whole parental care thing is really interesting. And I love spiders. So when I finally finish this PhD, if I get my own lab, I think I'd like to do some wolf spider research. Because I have such a fondness for them.
What do you think you'd want to know about the spiders that you don't already know?
I think one of them is the offspring mechanism. Does she shake them, or do they leave on their own? Like I said, maybe someone has studied it and I just haven't had a chance to find it yet. But when I worked with them for my master's degree, so you have to keep them separate because they will eat each other. So I had 20 deli containers with one spider in each container. Like little apartments, I had them all stacked on top of each other. So they had their own space. And they had a Dixie cup with water in it that I cut in half so they could comfortably reach it. And they like lean down and drink like dogs. They put their
That's so cute.
They put their little legs in front and they lower their whole bodies to the dish. I used to love to watch them. And I would feed them once a week a cricket, depending on when I was using them for my experiments, because I kind of needed them to be hungry to act like predators. And it got to the point where I would come into the lab and turn the light on, and they would move to the front of their cups and start scratching their legs on it.
Like a puppy at the back door?
Yeah, kind of. And I was wondering if they were associating me with food. Which would
sounds like it.
An interesting thing to test. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they have the ability to recognize a trigger of like when this thing happens, this next thing happens?
Yeah, like when this giant thing walks into their room, do I get a cricket? And then from there, if they can differentiate humans, which I don't know, that might be a big stretch for a spider, but I don't think anyone's really looked at it, so who knows? But yeah, they would get excited when I walked in. And probably when the undergrads walked in too, but I was the only one who was feeding them. But yeah, that would be interesting to test. I think more and more we're learning invertebrate cognition is a lot more interesting than we initially thought it was. There's been lots of studies with jumping spiders and their intelligence recently, their cognitive abilities. So why not? Wolf spiders are big. Maybe the bigger ones are capable of some interesting behaviors that no one's really looked at. But don't steal my ideas, scientists who may be listening to this.
Well, I think humans in general have a bias of big brains equals more intelligent. And think we assume tiny brain means dumb.
Dumb.
Dumb. It sounds like that might not be the case. Like, I guess
they're not like doing complicated math problems,
right?
But
I think they're capable of a lot more than we think they are.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be really fun to work on that eventually. So we'll see. Maybe Dr. Ped, friend of the pod, if you want to give me some space in your lab to get some spiders going, let me know.
You'd have to find some way to link it to plant
to plants. Yeah. But yeah, so I think they're cool. Another sort of neat thing is that the male wolf spiders will play music for the females. Their own little.
What are you talking about? What?
They serenade the ladies.
How? They don't have like vocal cords or anything. Are they playing like sick beats on some tiny bongo drums?
So their pedipalps on one side are ridged like a file, and they'll rub them together, and it creates this like purring noise, which they're transferring into the leaf litter because spiders can't hear, but they can sense vibration. So he plays this like purry, ratchety noise, and the female will pick it up over distance on the leaf litter, which is really, really cute. Yeah, so, like a cricket. Derek is saying like a cricket.
So, you know those instruments they give you in elementary school where it's like you can shake it and it makes a sand noise, but it's all ridged, and you put a stick. So they've got like the ridged and stick fish instrument was like
exactly, but they're front arms.
That is so funny.
There are recordings of it online. You can actually hear the sound. It's adorable. See, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the leaf litter.
No, I couldn't walk out into my garden and like just put my ear gently to the leaf litter and be like, "Excuse me, wolf spiders, are you trying to find a lady friend?"
You could. You'll actually, if you go outside, you can hear them. I don't know what it sounds like in the environment. Mm-hmm. I've heard it. I've heard the recordings of it, and then I've heard while reading articles about this that some scientists said they could hear it outside. Like now they know what they're listening for.
So if they just knew like this is going to be a hot spot for wolfies, I'm going to go put my gentle scientist ear up to it, and they can recognize
just
the sweet rhythms.
The serenade of a male.
This sounds like cursed knowledge.
Yeah, this sounds like one of those things you can never unhear. Like now that you know what it is,
you're never alone because it's you and some male wolf spiders.
I'd never recommend learning bird songs because then you'll just be like, "Oh, that's a flicker."
Yeah, I have that problem.
Every time you go for a walk, and it just is an intrusive thought that you now have created, where before you could tune out the bird songs, you're going to go out and be like, "Spiders are restless tonight."
Yeah.
The spiders are having a party.
Yeah, when we go on hikes, and we hear bird song, I'm like, "Oh, that's an ovenbird. That's a blue jay. That's a Carolina wren." And Joe's like, "Please stop. Please just stop it." Yeah, and I go, I can't stop.
I'm cursed with this terrible knowledge. Speaking of crickets, though, there is a cricket that must be 4 inches long that lives in my front bush rhododendron because I can hear it over the television at night. Like, it's ridiculously. I mean, he's right outside the window, and he's
a big boy
singing away. And in my mind, he must be huge. I know that in reality, he's probably
very little,
but he's so loud.
So I can cut this if you'd like, but an interesting. There's a lot of research into bats that eavesdrop onto frogs. There's a bat that hunts frogs in Panama. And so there's an arms race between the frogs and the bats because the bats are eavesdropping on the frogs croaking to find mates. So I wonder if there might be something similar happening if there's any bat species that are listening for spiders, because there definitely are bats that are listening to crickets and other orthoptera.
Yeah, it could be. I guess it would that'd be an interesting study to figure out what bats are eating.
Or not just even bats, like shrews
anything,
might be listening in.
Maybe. There's a lot of noise happening, but Yeah, could be. That's cool. It's very cool. When I was reading about this, I was like, I want to hear the songs of the wolf spider.
I want to
Serenade me,
know.
little males. Let me know.
Are there other spiders that do this? I know that jumping spiders dance rhythmically, and there's some physical component to the dance rhythms.
Dance to
Not
the
that
rhythm,
I've
dance to the rhythm,
read.
dance.
So the right now it's just jumpers and wolf spiders are the only ones that I know of that are making sound. But I bet there's others. That YouTube link is wolf spider noises if you want to listen to it.
Oh, I absolutely do. Yes. I also have drawn Zots doing kung fu. I hope that's all right.
Oh, I love that. I gotta see that.
Okay, Kelly, what's your favorite type of shoe? Because I'm trying to accurately put on the hooks that spiders have on the end of their shoe.
Oh yeah, that little.
But every time I do, it looks like a frog foot. I'm thinking maybe you might end up in high heels to represent that hook.
The hook. You could draw a regular shoe with two little hooks coming out the front of it.
That's what makes it look like a frog.
It looks like a frog.
Yeah. I'm just gonna maybe.
A Converse, black Converse is
Converse,
what I.
Black Converse. Okay, you're going the Spider Gwen route. Love it.
It's either those or I have like a pair of green tennis shoes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what to do with your legs. You mentioned that they were stripy. How high of implied line should I go here?
Let's see.
You know I love a thigh-high boot for no reason.
I'm gonna look at a wolf spider. Let's look at a wolf spider photo while we're doing this. So the legs aren't stripy. It's just the abdomen.
Oh, okay.
And the cephalothorax. So there we go.
Oh, I see. Oh, she does have a pretty little stripe pattern on her, doesn't she?
And they're all pretty stripy. Some of them more so than others. I'm going to show you a picture of a Carolina wolf spider, which is my favorite. Only because I've worked with them. But yeah, she looks pretty general. All right, there we go. Yeah, see the legs are kind of a tannish.
Yeah.
Almost the color of fall leaves. Look at that camouflage on that lady.
Look at her go. Speaking of fall leaves, this is your Bugs Need Heroes reminder to leave your leaf litter. Mm-hmm. Do not vacuum it up. I guess they don't vacuum it up.
Rake it up?
Rake it up is what I meant to say.
So I'm thinking about superpowers. So we've got speed. We've got pouncing, because they're pouncers. Good eyesight. Camouflage. Venom. And some of them... So there's a species called the yellow striped bear spider. I love that it's a bear spider instead of a wolf spider for some reason. And they can remain underwater for up to 40 hours because they put themselves in a little spider coma. How's that for a crazy power?
A spider coma. See, I thought you were going to say they like build like a spider bubble. They like live
like a diving bell spider.
Yeah. Yes.
Different type. Yeah. No, so this species lives in like a commonly flooded area. So it's really just so if they get flooded, they can go into this little coma, and hopefully it doesn't last more than 40 hours until the water recedes, and then they're safe again. They just come out of it. It's not nuts.
That is wild. That is a survival tactic. I would not. It's like those goats that faint. And I'm like, why is this a thing? How did we come to this point where you just are like fainting? Goodbye.
The goats have narcolepsy.
Yeah. We've bred that into them, is my understanding.
On average, I think it was 16 hours, but the one who lasted the longest was 40 hours. And they tried this with 2 other species of wolf spider, and they just died. So it's something very particular to this species that has really adapted to this floodplain sort of habitat, which is awesome. Evolution is cool, man. Evolution is so cool.
It's wild out there. All right, I'm going to add some dark lines to Kelly, and then we can talk about what she needs in addition to what I have already. Wow.
I'm excited, Amanda, to get not only my very own Spidersona, but a Spidersona from you, which it makes it really heartfelt and Makes me feel all warm inside, so thanks.
Well, if I was really designing a spider suit, I'd have to take, days to really think about it. But for a first run, we'll do this. I've tried to add some elements of Miles and Gwen to the suit, just so that it's clear where we're coming from for this.
Yeah.
I like his armpit stripes. That's why I felt like that incorporated into the wolf
spider
stripes.
I like those really too. Those were cool. And Peter's joke about them.
Yeah, it's like, your armpits bleeding? What's going on here? I think it's funny that Miles is so artistic when that would be the last thing I'd expect from Peter. But then you remember that Peter's a photographer.
Yeah,
so he does have an artistic element to him. He just never gets to express it because he's always busy saving New York. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you live in the Marvel Universe, get the heck out of New York. Stop living there.
Bad news.
Nothing good happens in New York in the MCU or the Marvel Universe in general.
I love, is it Jake Johnson who voices Peter? And
yes.
He does such a great job. He's a very funny guy.
He's a very good Peter, too. He has such a world-weary element to his voice that is perfect for a 40-year-old Peter. I think someone in the movie called him oh, here he is, humbling reality, Peter. I was like, how dare you? He's probably the happiest of any of you.
Yeah, he's married. He's got a little baby.
Did you hear that they're going to let Peter marry Jane in the comics again and give him 2 kids?
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that shakes out.
It's not 616 Peter, though.
It's not. No, it's an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Aww.
But, and all the comments I've seen so far have been stop giving us alternate universes of Spider-Man and let him be happy in the 616. Every single comment has been that.
That's fair.
Clearly I love we all the want him to be with Mary Jane. Stop pretending like he's not interesting just because he's married.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lousy stereotype.
It's one of my biggest media pet peeves is they learned the wrong lesson from Honeymooners. With the whole once the will they won't they is over, it loses interest. I'm like, no, incorrect. You just have to pivot what's interesting about these characters. The odd couple dynamic can continue. It's just now they kiss at the end.
The characters should be interesting on their own enough to the point where when they're brought together in a marriage, they're still interesting because they haven't changed. They haven't become one.
But when they base so much of the media around maybe today's the episode where they'll kiss, I'm like, stop. I have abandoned multiple TV shows because they do that nonsense too many times. I'll give you once, and only if it's reasonably written. Otherwise, I gotta go.
What spider would you pick for your Spidersona?
I would pick not a spider.
Not a spider?
I would pick, I think the jumping spider is really, really cute.
They are very cute.
But I'm not a very jumpy person. Is there a spider that's short and squat and probably ambush? Because I feel like I'm ambushy, not capture-y. I feel like I need to...
Maybe a trapdoor spider?
Yeah, I could do trapdoor, I think. Do they have a big booty? Because I need a big booty.
They do have a big booty.
Spider. All right, cool. I'll do trapdoor then.
I'll find you a photo of a trapdoor spider while you draw. Oh yeah. Well, it is pretty. It's squattier than I remembered it being.
Perfect. That's what I want. I need to be the teapot equivalent of a spider, short and stout, always yelling, "Tip me over, pour me out."
Yeah, I would say this is a pretty. Well, no, let me copy this picture. This is the perfect picture. Copy. There we go. Look at this lady.
All right, let me pop over to the Discord. Oh yeah, that's the girl. That's the one.
Even her legs are thick. She's like a thick little
that's
spider.
What I like. I need a thickum nugget for a spider.
So now we know Amanda is a trapdoor spider.
Perfect. I'm a trapdoor spider. I'm here. I'm waiting for you. I need to know the motherly instincts of a trapdoor spider.
Actually, I'm not sure. I haven't read too much about trapdoor spiders. Let's see. No, she cares for them. Oh, and she feeds them for their first winter.
perfect.
Yeah.
And I trap and I door.
And then they leave and they make their own burrows, so they don't eat her or anything at the end of it.
Good. I hate when they eat the mama. That's why I don't like octopuses, because I feel like it's injustice.
Mm.
She spent all this time caring for you, and then you just feast upon her corpse. Rude.
It is pretty rude, but you know what? It's got to happen sometimes.
You know what? Sometimes that's how it be.
Producer Derek, what kind of spider would you be? For your Spidersona.
Orb weaver.
Orb weaver.
Yeah,
why orb weaver?
They're very cool.
They set traps.
Makes sense.
Oh.
I mean,
they always have.
Orb weavers are pretty.
They're very cool. Like, was it you that showed me that Halloween decoration of someone had put like a giant orb weaver on the front of their house?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, and I definitely think about trying to build my own web, like how I would do it. You start with the 3 across, and then you make the spokes after that. Like, I think it would just be a good time.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, Derek. Mom used to make a dental floss web every Halloween when we were growing up.
Yeah, definitely. It's stuck with me.
That's cool.
On our front porch, because it's in reality, it's time consuming, but it's not a particularly complicated design.
Yeah, spiders do it. They have tiny little brains.
Yeah.
As we discussed.
There are studies where they put spiders on different drugs and watch the way they weave their webs, and it definitely affects the web construction.
We weave.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to give you the little Spider-Man nipped waist, because I feel like it's unrealistic body standards from the Spider-Mans. One thing that was interesting about the amount of spiders that they showed, that they really showed that, like, the idea of a spider person is very, very broad. Like, normally you'd expect them all to just be kind of Peter variants. The way that,
there were some really big ones. There were like
some really
big burly ones and
big,
Yeah,
some real departures from Peter. Whereas in the first one, it was like, even Penny was Penny. I don't think her last name is Parker, but I mean, she's basically just a female Peter.
Yeah.
Like, but in this one, in Across the Spider-Verse, they really embrace the idea that being a spider person is a whole genre. And again, that goes back to like this weird moment in comics where they talked about like there's a spider force, basically, that like
well, the Spider-Man multiverse stuff actually comes earlier than the Spider-Verse event. It comes from a video game for PlayStation called Spider-Man Shattered Worlds, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Where you play as Peter and Miguel.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, Miguel.
Shattered Dimensions. Miguel. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. And you also play as Spider-Man Noir.
I would like to see more of Miguel. I hope they don't kill his character off in the third movie. I would be interested to see a live action sort of Miguel. I think there's a lot to do with his character, given he's a little bit of an anti-hero for Spider-Man.
Yeah. Because, Cody and I were talking about last night how much, like, when Peter is Peter, he is a good guy. Even when he's doing things that aren't great, he's always trying to do them for the right reason. And Miguel shares that, even though he doesn't have the same level of like golden heartedness that Peter does.
Miguel is very much, this is the right thing to do, and I will do it at all costs.
Right. That's what I'm signed up to do, was to protect the multiverse, whatever it takes.
He's very practical.
And as we learned in the comics when we read the comics over the summer, is like anyone who has something he wants, it doesn't matter who that is, he will take it from you. I mean, he took his own brother's girlfriend. What a rudo. What a rude person.
She kind of sucked too. I don't know why.
She was not worth stealing from your brother.
She wasn't great. I don't know. Oh, Miguel.
How stripy is Darcy?
Darcy's a tabby. He's
I'll add some more stripes.
A gray striped tabby with white paws. Like he's wearing little socks.
Whoop. Whoop.
And then don't forget, Finn is missing an eye and a leg.
I put him in the bag because I figured he needs to be in the bag. So Okay, now I just gotta
My boy.
add some lines to Zot's doing kung fu.
This is great. Do I get all the cats? I get all the
You
podcasts.
you got all the podcasts. Put on Zot's liar's spot.
We were Rotunda was trying to steal some food from me because I had a cheesesteak.
I love a cheesesteak.
And Valerie came over and grabbed her before she could get any, and she made a Zot sound.
What's a Zot sound? Does she?
Wow, 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 wow.
That's great.
Like Waluigi spinning out in Mario?
Yeah. Zot is a Waluigi.
Yeah, I'd say he is a Waluigi. Did I send you that comic about like Waluigi thinks his life is the worst and then he finds out that like other people also have feelings?
That's great.
It was a very good comic.
Finn's been making these barking noises at us. He'll just go meh, meh, meh,
yeah, Zot
meh.
does those.
Yeah. I'm like, what do you want? And he'll just keep doing it. It's very cute though. It's very, very cute.
He's just gonna turn to him and be like, "Chaos reigns, father." He's like, "Oh gosh."
You can see the poster behind me. He pulled the tacks out of that.
What a little jerk.
I saw it was falling down. I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah.
He just reaches over and just pulls them?
He jumped up to the window that you can't see and then pulled out the tacks.
He's a menace.
Yeah.
He has youngest son energy for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm putting it in the art tab.
Finn has been those poofs that I made for your cats, Derek. We have a bunch. I made a bunch for my cats too, and Finn has been in the evening bringing 2 or 3 of them or in the morning he brings 2 or 3 of them into our bedroom, and then at night he brings them back out again in his mouth. It's so cute.
All right, pop it in the Discord. I put Spider Kelly in there with all her cats.
Oh, I love it. Look at all those kitties. Oh, look at baby boy winking. Look at Sauce.
I think Rotunda needs to be even fatter.
All right, I'll beef her up.
Plump up Rotundi. Yeah, it's like I just stole these cats and they're mine now.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of a thief energy to it, but
it's great.
So I tried to add some of the striping, which I had to like read you several times because it was coming off as waspy, but oh well. The black chucks to kind of reference Spider-Gwen, the armpit stripes to reference Miles, a ponytail at the top like Lady Deadpool because I wanted to show your hair, but I was like, well, look, the Lady Deadpool ponytail is the best one.
It's great. Thank you. I love it. Look at how little Desi is. Look at his tiny little head.
So anxious.
So concerned.
She just always looks like she's dissociating to me. Always, at all times.
Just
poor Desi always just looks like she's overwhelmed by what is happening and she wishes it wasn't.
Okay, we got to do the leg segment and wrap up.
All right. So, how many legs would you give the wolf spider? We'll go 8 today because
8 out of 8. They're my favorites. Yeah,
they're your favorites.
How about you, Esme?
I mean, I was surprised by I knew a little bit of the mothering stuff because we've just discussed it before. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that they sing songs to each other. I don't know why that really endears them to me a lot. That they have I don't know, they just
playing
like
a little song.
Dad, he's doing a little dance. You know, we've discussed before that Peter's
his little violin
dancing ability. Exactly. He's like da, 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 da. And something about it being percussive. I am also imagining him reading her like his poems for her.
Oh yeah,
like with like do 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 do, my beautiful queen, do 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 do, Lord of the underbrush, do 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 do, here we meet, do 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 do, here to eat, do 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 do, me, and then like that's it. That's the whole poem.
Perfect poetry.
Yeah.
So how many legs then?
I think the fact that they don't spin webs. They do have the ability to make web. They just don't spin webs.
They spin silk. They don't make webs.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's a technically a different
distinction.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do they make like cobwebby webs or?
When they're
not much.
They sometimes when they'll be in a burrow, when she's getting ready to lay eggs, and she might cover that burrow in silk.
Line up. So she pretty much uses her silk as her papoose to make the bebes.
It's for eggies.
Yeah.
Or Derek's mentioning molting. Yeah, if she's molting, she might make a soft
place to be skinless.
yeah. To slowly come out. Yeah.
I think not being a web slinger as a Spidersona would be to your detriment, just because all the other spider people would be leaving you behind.
I'd have to be fast. Good runner.
So fast. Yeah.
And climby.
But like theoretically, they're all fast too, is the thing. Like they're already fast because they have their own hydraulic leg systems.
Producer Derek's is getting taxis, and yeah, maybe it's...
Can you imagine? You're like, oh no, Kingpin's up to it again. Ahoy hoy, taxi!
Let me open my Lyft app.
Let me grab an Uber real fast. I think that would be to your detriment as a Spidersona. So I'm going to take a point off for that. But other than that, I'll give it a 7. 7 out of 8.
7 out of 8? Nice.
Yes.
They are fun. And they're cool. And I know people are generally very afraid of them because they can be big and intimidating, but they don't want to bite you. So if you find one in your house, put a cup over it, slide a piece of paper under that cup, gently put them outside.
Even if they get out of the cup, they're probably not going to get on you. They're still going to try and leave.
Yeah, they don't want to be on us. We're very scary. Although when I was doing my research, I was transferring one wolf spider into the experimental area, and she zipped up my arm.
Woo!
And she got loose and got up onto my shoulder and stopped. And there was an undergrad in the room with me, and the undergrad lost her mind. She had a complete meltdown. And she's like, it's on your shoulder, it's on your shoulder. And I go, I know, she's on my shoulder. She doesn't really want to be on me. This was a mistake.
She doesn't like it any more than I do.
Yeah.
All right?
I'm not happy about this either.
Yeah. Mom used to always say, they're more scared of you than you are of it.
Yeah.
And,
although I do get that some people have phobias, and you
Yeah.
can't really do too much about that. But if you're just like yuckied about them, you know, we can work on that.
Just avoid each other.
Yeah,
mutual avoidance.
But she got up on my shoulder, and I had to gently get her onto my hand.
Yeah.
To then get her into her cup.
I mean, some people keep tarantulas and really have a relationship based on handling with their tarantulas, which is really
I've handled
impressive.
Tarantulas before when I worked at a pet store.
They have Great Dane energy where they're like,
they don't really
what
care.
are you gonna do about this? Okay. Like a Great Dane, you can like walk over and push it over, and they're just like, oh no, I'm falling over now. Why'd you do that? Whereas like a Chihuahua's like, I'll fight you to the death right now.
Chihuahuas are a lot. Chihuahuas are a lot.
Well,
but yeah. So
when
don't,
you're small,
don't hurt the
you got to be
spiders.
on alert. You got to be on alert all the time when you're small. It's true of spiders. It's true of Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
It's true of me.
It's true. It's true of Amanda.
So yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed the wolf spider chit chat we just had. I love them. I think they're great.
I think the only thing you could really do to improve them is if you were a werewolf spider. If you were part
werewolf, that'd be
spider.
fun.
You only became that. So we should add this to your Spidersona lore.
You become a giant spider at night.
You become a giant spider only on the full moon.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, because we've talked before about how Peter, every now and then, Peter will become a spider man.
Yeah.
He's like gross.
A man spider.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's add that to my Spidersona.
Yeah, so
a full moon.
On a full moon, you become
a giant, terrifying wolf spider.
A Shelob-sized spider that lives in the forest.
The
forests of New York.
Be the cryptid you want to see in the world, right?
Be the cryptid you want to see. Mothman. Also, I just found out Cody didn't know what Mothman was before we did that episode a few weeks ago.
Really? I guess Mothman is not one of the more popular cryptids.
I think this is my personal bias.
I think it's all Bigfoot.
Very popular, but I think I'm on the section of the internet in which he is popular.
Maybe.
If that makes sense. I'm like on and off, like, here's a pretty picture of my moth. Here's a cool caterpillar I found. Like, I follow enough of those pages at Mothman.
Where you found Mothman. Yeah.
Exactly. I found the Mothman fans.
Well, that's good. I hope that that episode brings more people to Mothman to understand.
So he may warn them.
Yeah.
So that he may
of
tell
the
them
bridge.
of the hard bridges in his life. Well, if you want to share your Spidersona with us, you can find us on the Reddits, all the usual places. Please come talk to us. We'd love to talk about Spidersonas with you. Do you think they did too much color work in Gwen's universe in Spider-Verse 2? Because I do. And otherwise, if you just want to talk about bugs, we're on the Reddit. You can come find us. We'll see you there. So long. Goodbye. We love you. Bugs Need Heroes is created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Rolemusic. All character art by Amanda Niday. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out on bugsneedheroes.com for the visual companion to our episodes with the artwork of the bug-related heroes. We also have an Instagram, Twitter, and subreddit under the Bugs Need Heroes name. Thanks for coming by.
Well, I finally, Derek.
Sorry, that wasn't a fart. That was me. That was my box. Yeah, sorry. I do hobbies during the recording.
It's all of a sudden Derek's ripping.
It was a great noise.